If you're constantly thinking about what to do next but never take any action, it's not laziness. This is an energy alignment issue. It's a hidden block and it is secretly delaying the life that you really want to live. The scary part, most people don't even realize that they are stuck in this loop until they have been there for too long and they have lost years to thinking about it. Hello everybody, I am Vaishali Nikhade. I am an engineer turned psychic with over 9,000 readings, and I've helped tens if not hundreds of clients who've been stuck in this mode and they can't seem to move forward. And I'm going to give you access to a free masterclass below where you can see how you can leverage the power of the stars, and it is going to change the whole map for you, and you won't be stuck in this loop and you will have the ability to take action and move forward. Essentially, you're going to learn that inability to plan ahead is not a time management issue, but it is an energy misalignment issue. According to a Gallup and Wellbeing for Planet Earth Foundation study, 1/3 of the people around the world feel like their lives are out of balance. When people have balance, they feel calm, peaceful, and happy, whereas where they are out of balance, then they feel distressed, they feel uncomfortable, and they are unable to move past their current state and take the next step, so to say. So here's what you're going to learn in this video. The root cause is lack of clarity and not lack of time. Overthinking is a survival mechanism, not a personality flaw. And you don't need more willpower, you need a predictive system. So let's get started. The first point is the root cause is lack of clarity, not lack of time. When you don't know the right move to make, your brain is going to automatically delay the decision to protect you. Essentially, what's going to happen is you're going to go into overthinking mode, and you will start to think about all the permutations and combinations, all the probabilities about what could happen, what could not happen, what if this happens, what if this happens, and on and on and on. And essentially what you're doing is you're kind of killing time and you are not taking any action. Think about the last time when you didn't really want to do something. You came up with 1,000 excuses of, oh, I have to do this first, I have to do that first, I have to do that first, and then your task gets moved to the second day. And you can do this day after day and essentially kind of push the thing that you don't want to do over on and on until you have some sort of a limit when you have to get that thing done, and probably that's when you actually get the thing done. And the easiest example is that of taxes. Most people, if they're doing the taxes themselves in particular, they don't like to do their taxes and they delay it until almost the last date, which is April 15th, and then around that week or around a few days before, that's when they actually turn in their taxes. So essentially this is a known task, which is doing your taxes, but most of the times people have things in terms of decisions, or they have decisions to make where the outcome is unknown. And once the outcome is unknown, it creates uncertainty. And once you have uncertainty, you are hesitant to move forward or to take the next step or make the right decision. And you essentially go into an overthinking mode. However, using the power of the stars, you can get this clarity, because essentially what your brain was craving for was clarity, because it didn't really know what the outcome would be of the decision that you're going to make. And because it didn't know, it's kind of just churning round and round, and it's thinking that, oh my God, what if this happens? What if that happens? Kind of a thing. So once you get the clarity that, oh, if I make this move, then, something good is going to happen, or even if it doesn't happen, then this is how I can, let's say, either cut my losses or take the next step. So the stars give you that clarity, and I have a free workshop. The link is below. You can sign up for that free workshop, and essentially it shows you how you can leverage the power of the stars in order to be able to create momentum in your life. So we move on to the second part, which is overthinking is a survival mechanism, not a personality flaw. So your brain may think that more thinking is going to give you more safety. However, by thinking, you are just spending time on thinking and not taking any action. One of the ways to avoid this is to have a time slot during the day where you can just have that time slot for thinking, so that you have a thinking time slot and an action time slot. So let's say that this is your day, and you're going to be, let's say, waking up over here, and you're going to kind of go to bed here at night. And if you spend a lot of your time thinking, essentially you're burning through the day. But let's say that if you have a slot for thinking, either early morning or late night, then what you can do is you can make a note of all the stuff that you need to think about, and you can push it during this period of time, either here or here. And by doing this, what you're doing is essentially, let's say that I have 10 things that I need to think about. So I just make a note of all those things and I write those things down. And when I have my slot, then I just think about everything. And by doing this, essentially, you have a finite period of time during which you have to, or you need to, make those decisions. And by making these decisions in this much period of time, you're not going to waste all your energy during the day. If you don't do this, what is going to happen is during the day, you're just going to spend your time thinking, what if, and essentially you're burning your energy. Which brings me to the point that are you doing something like this, which is you're thinking throughout the day, or you have chunks of time which you have dedicated to thinking? You can go ahead and put that in the comments below and let me know which side are you on, which is you are overthinking throughout the day, or you just have a small period of time where you can just do all the thinking and you make all the decisions during that day so that you're not burning your energy thinking. So if you take care of overthinking, do you need more willpower? Which brings me to the next point, which is you don't need more willpower, you need a predictive system. So think about having a system where you have the energy of the day or the week or the month known in advance for you, which means essentially you know which parts of the month are going to be favorable for you and which parts of the month are not going to be favorable, or which windows are going to be good for you and which windows of the month are not going to be good for you. So the easiest way to show this is let's say that you have a monthly calendar and this is your calendar. And if there was a, think of it as having like a GPS for the month, and just for the sake of convenience, I'm just going to draw 9 slots, and let's say this is your whole month. So this is 10 days, this is 10 days, and this is 10 days. So each row is 10 days. So 3 1/3 per block. Okay, so now you have these 10 days, and what the stars do is they show you the periods of energy or pockets of energy when things are going to be favorable for you and when things are not going to be favorable for you. So let's say that here, for instance, this part of the segment is not going to be favorable for you. And let's say that you have to make an important decision over here. So essentially, what do you do? Because you don't want this decision to kind of, you make the decision and suddenly everything starts going in the wrong direction. So what exactly, or what essentially should you be doing? And is this decision really going to, is the outcome of this decision going to show up in a short period of time, or is it going to show up in a long period of time? I have a video which I will link below where I showed you, or I show you how a decision has a short-term impact, a medium-term impact, and a long-term impact. And I'll link that video below, but essentially a decision has a lot more than just one outcome, and I've explained it all in details in that video below. So coming back to the point, if you have to make a decision here and you already know that things are not going to be favorable, unless it's a life or death decision, you can either push this decision out here or just know what the short-term impacts of the decision are, so that even if the short-term impacts are not good, you can still kind of live through this period and things can start moving favorably for you. But to kind of put it at a very high level, what the GPS from the stars does is essentially it will show you that, okay, these are the green days, which means that during these days, things are going to move very favorably for you. So essentially, you can leverage the power of these days in order to do something positive or to create positive momentum. And during the days when it is not green, you can still put in the work over here, but you can also expect that it is not going to have an immediate outcome. So that is essentially what the stars do. So think of it as just like a weather forecast. You kind of know that, oh, it's going to rain or it's going to snow. So you are prepared accordingly. If, let's say, I want to go to the airport, I'll still go to the airport, but I kind of know that because it is raining or because it is snowing, my trip is going to take longer. Just like this arrow I showed you here and moving it here. So essentially, that's how the GPS from the stars is. It's kind of giving you a flavor of what is to come, so that you can plan and prep and expect things to show up in a different manner rather than what you had in mind just by making your decision. So I cover this in detail in the free workshop as well as the Cosmic Chronicle. And what I do in the Cosmic Chronicle is essentially every window, I show you what is the window of opportunity for you. And based on that, you can kind of prep your week or your month and just create more momentum, as well as kind of take off that overthinking hat and have a little bit more peace in your life. So if you're interested, you can go and sign up for the Cosmic Chronicle and essentially have what is the equivalent of a weather GPS for you so that you can take action to create momentum in your life. Because of this, your planning is going to get a lot easier and the future is not going to feel like a mystery, but more like you have a map of what is coming next. So sometimes it is not about managing the time, but it is about managing the energy, and that is the subject of my next video, which is time versus energy management, what actually moves your life forward, and it is going to change the way you think about productivity. So that is the subject of my next video, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.